So Corey got the last one. It's your favorite quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Stop. Stop.
All right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Head coach Todd Bowles. Look, he's a guy that's well respected around the league, well respected by the team. I do think the circumstances of him taking over were kind of bizarre. You have Brady's retirement, sudden change of mind. Bruce Arians' sudden retirement after reports of friction between Brady and Arians. Mm-hmm. Who knows if Brady had anything to do with Arians being gone? Arians has long been a Todd Bowles guy, so it also wouldn't surprise me if Arians was ready to step aside a bit, but wanted to do it that late to make sure Todd Bowles was the guy. But personally, I'm glad to see him get another chance. I thought he did a decent job with the Jets, given the situation he was in with the Jets. And I think he is more than deserving of another head coaching opportunity. Offensively, I think the loss of Gronk is going to hurt him. We'll see what Julio Jones can do. He didn't really do much of anything in Tennessee last year. I know the Bucs will be asking less of Julio than what Tennessee was. The Titans needed him to be a contributing number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah.
The Bucs need him to be the number 3 wide receiver, maybe like the 4th option on the offense as a whole. Mm-hmm. So it's a scaled back role will maybe help Julio stay healthier and contribute in that offense. I will say the injuries to the offensive line are a bit concerning that have already happened at camp so far. Losing Jensen, Wirfs got hurt. I saw somebody else, Stenny got put on IR. Like it's when you have a 40-something-year-old quarterback that can't move at all, having your starting offensive line start going down in training camp is very concerning because it's really hard to find quality guys at this point in the season. I think the Bucs could be in a position where they're going to be scouring the waiver wire come cut down day to bring in some offensive linemen.
Yeah, I can see
that. I will say I don't think their skill talent is quite as deep as it's been the last few years. But there's going to be more on Tom Brady's plate. I think they're going to have to ask more of him because that offense, both the skill talent and the offensive line. The offensive line was one of the best in football, and their skill position talent was some of the best in the NFL. The year they won the Super Bowl, their skill talent was, I would argue, one of the best all-around units ever. I mean, they were that good. Yeah. We'll see how Godwin bounces back, but you still got Mike Evans. You still have a lot of talent there. I think the offense will be fine. Defensively, again, their defense is loaded with talent as well. They've got guys across the board. They, again, are largely running it back from the last few years. But I think the Akeem Hicks signing could be a very underrated signing this offseason. I'm not sure how he lasted as long as he did in the offseason, but I think he can slide in and more than help replace Ndamukong Suh being gone. Mm-hmm. Overall, look, the Bucs are the front runners for this division. I think it could be closer than some expect because the Saints have historically given the Bucs some trouble. And I think that the Saints have a really talented roster as well. While I don't think the Bucs offense will be quite as talented as it's been the last couple of years, they're still in the NFC. They're still in the NFC South. So they've got it. The Falcons are going to be really bad. The Panthers, they've kind of owned. So I suspect that they won't have any problems getting into the playoffs. And the question will be, by the time the playoffs roll around, are they able to make a run? I will say, Brady's absence during camp has been kind of weird. Not sure what's going on there.
Spending time with family.
You can't, I get it. He's a well-respected quarterback.
In his 40s. Man. It's his last year, man.
But you can't just decide to go on a family vacation in the middle of training camp. Like, you unretired to play football. It's your job. Like that's
yeah.
I don't know. That's a really weird situation. Brady, the story of Brady going to the Dolphins, not really getting traction is a really weird situation. The recent story of Brady lining it up to go to Oakland until Gruden backed out of the deal the fact that never got any traction is really weird. So there does seem to be a little bit of stuff floating around this team other than football that I think they should be able to overcome it because the roster is really talented. But if things struggle a little bit, I mean, some of that stuff might take hold. But I don't really see the Bucs struggling this year when picking games. I had them at the top of the NFC, near the top of the NFC, and had them going 13-4.
Yeah. All right, Craig, Tampa Bay.
Okay. Not really much to say about this team, but Todd Bowles taking over for Bruce Arians. I don't know that whole situation or why. I don't know. It's kind of crazy what happened. So I think if Bruce Arians was capable of coaching again, and I mean, why didn't he just come back to lead this team again? I don't know. Maybe Tom Brady had something to do with it, or maybe him and Tom Brady just didn't get along, or I'm not sure, but it's kind of odd. But hopefully Todd Bowles can be as good of a coach as Bruce Arians was for this team. We'll see. Obviously Tom Brady, I'm not really going to go into detail. So moving on. The running backs though, Leonard Fournette, he can't. At one point, he was reported to be like 30 pounds overweight when he came into camp, and I think now he should be. Yeah, I think now he should be. I don't know. Maybe he's on that James Harden diet or something like that. But he should be good to go now. He re-signed in the offseason, so coming into camp at the weight he came in was just unacceptable. But now he's back. He's ready to go, and he should be on pace to have another really good season. He doesn't have Jones behind him anymore, so he is pretty much the main guy there. Obviously, we got Mike Evans, the number one wide receiver there. Russell Gage coming in. They also bringing in Julio Jones. Chris Godwin, not sure when he's going to be back. As far as being able to play with contact, he hasn't been able to participate in contact drills yet. So we'll see when he's able to come back. Hopefully it'll be soon. They're going to need him. Julio Jones, I'm not really expecting much out of Julio Jones. I just don't think he's that good anymore. I haven't thought he was good in years, honestly. So I think he's just there. He's just a guy that they can just probably get like, I don't know, 30 catches this year, which might be good for him since he's older and he's getting to that point where he's about to retire eventually. But if you're Julio Jones, you've been like the top wide receiver for years. Like, it's not good enough, but it is what it is. The tight ends, man, I'm still not sold on Gronk not coming back. I can't. I think maybe at some point during the season he might return. But even still now you're dealing with Kyle Rudolph and Cameron Brate. They're okay. Even both of them combined don't make a Gronk. So we had to see. Tom Brady's record with Gronk in the lineup was just ridiculous. I think I can't remember what the record is, but it was ridiculously good. So we'll see what happens with that situation. The offensive line obviously has been beat up. Wirfs and Jensen. Like Jensen's gone for the year. Tristan Wirfs probably should be back before the season starts. Maybe he's kind of day-to-day right now. So we'll see what happens with that. But the offensive line is just not going to be the same as it was last year, especially without Jensen. So not sure what they're going to have to deal with that. They also lost Alex Kappa, who went to the Bengals. So it's going to be rough coming back this year with that offensive line that they got. But on the defensive side, obviously the defense should be just as good. Corey mentioned Akeem Nicks signing that 1-year deal. He should be a beast basically on that defensive line. They did lose Sue and they did lose Pierre Paul, but getting the guy like Hakeem Hicks should be vital for this defensive unit. Vita Vea still there. The linebackers are probably the best linebacker core in the NFL with Devin White, Levante David, and Shaq Barrett. So that should be, man, that's going to be scary. The secondary, I like Carlton Davis and I like Antonio Winfield. And they went out and they got Logan Ryan, who's I don't even think is starting. So they definitely have depth there. They have Neal, who's not starting either, I don't believe. So, I mean, they have depth, especially at safety. Carlton Davis and Sean Murphy-Bunting, solid corners. So, you know, I just think that this Bucs team is definitely poised to make another run. I'm kind of there with Corey. Like, I don't understand the whole Tom Brady missing in action thing during the 3 weeks of training camp, missing game or missing time. Obviously, I don't think he's going to play much in the preseason anyway, but just not being there, especially with this group where you have Russell Gage coming in, you have new tight ends coming in, you have Julio Jones coming in. Like, I know Tom Brady's a professional. He's been in the league for years and years, but like, you know, if this is your last year, like I kind of figure like you want to maybe be there a little bit more, helping these guys, getting a rapport with these guys, especially these newer guys. But you know, it is what it is. He wasn't there. Now he's back. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But even still, I think the Bucs are one of the better teams in the NFC. I don't really expect them to take too many steps back, even with guys like Gronk not being there or Ndamukong Suh. I think I have the Bucs finishing 13-4, and I think they'll be tied with the Rams. But I think the head-to-head with the Rams is going to move the Rams above the Bucs. But 13-4.
Okay. Mo, Tampa Bay.
Todd Bowles, I love it. I'm glad he got another shot. You know what happened with the Jets and Arizona. But I'm glad he got another shot. Solid coach. I'm glad they kept Leftwich. I don't know if that's a kind of in the wings waiting type of situation, or did he really just feel like his outlooks wasn't good? He felt like I might as well just stay in Tampa.
I feel like Tom requested him back.
Yeah. Tom Brady, I mean, enough said. I get what some people's stance has been about, oh, he's the GOAT and all this other stuff, but like Craig just said, and I think Corey said it too, with all the new weapons coming in to give him that much of time off away from new weapons, it wasn't like you getting your full arsenal back. I think it was and you got almost a brand new offensive line. You lost, 2-3 starters from the offensive line. I don't think that was a good look. I think Fournette and these backs are going to really be important. Wide receiver wise, it's talented. Look at the room; it's talented. I think Julio's going to be motivated. You got Godwin coming back off injury. You know, hopefully he'll be back full strength or somewhat. You got Russell Gage. You got Scotty Miller, who's been productive. Tyler Johnson. So offensive line, it looks kind of beat up. It is beat up. It is new. That defensive front is going to be just nasty. That front seven is going to be just something not to play with. And like Craig said, it's scary for the fact that Logan Ryan and Keanu Neal, I'm looking at now, are backups. We're talking about starters who've been starters in the league for years, and they're backups on this team. That's scary. Like you talking about now, they're not even, you know what I'm saying? They're second on depth charts. So, and it's not because they're not good either. It's not because they've diminished. It's because the people in front of them are that good. I've loved Winfield Jr. since he came out of college in Minnesota. I honestly think the defense is going to hold them down for a minute, and I think they might struggle a little bit. But I still see what Craig's saying. I'm cool with the 12 to 13 wins, but I can honestly see them, like, if you want to get them, you better get them within the first 5 to 6 weeks. Because, like, once they catch fire, it's going to be scary. Like, it's going to be like a lookout situation. Like, they're going to catch fire. And I think we all going to get on here one day for who you got or something. We're going to be like, there it is. There it is. When we start catching fire. Like, there it is. You know what I'm saying? So, honestly, I can see them 13, 12, 12-5, 13-4. But like Craig said, that head-to-head, they might lose to the Rams, so that would knock them out to the 2 seed. But I can honestly see Tampa being a 2 seed in the in the NFC. Like honestly, I'm gonna say this. This is my bold prediction right quick. Whoever wins that NFC South is going to be the 2 seed in the NFC.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So Tampa Bay Bucks, we got Todd Bowles. Love him, respect him. You know, quick nugget if anybody wants to know. Todd Bowles did play for the Commanders back in the day. And when he had here's the crazy thing. When he was going to be head coach of the Jets, I wanted us to hire him so bad, but we didn't. I just like him as a coach. And this fits. Don't know what Bruce Arians. I mean, we know what it is. I don't even have to say it. What happened between Bruce Arians? We know what it is, guys. You don't have to keep saying we don't know. We know what happened. Okay. Tom Brady. This Tom Brady. He took 11 days. I feel like he made some obligations to spend time with his family, and he carried it. He let the team know, like, it's Tom Brady. I do agree with he should be there for his new weapons and especially his new offensive line. I think it's going to take some time. It's been a lot of injuries, but he'll be okay. Leonard Fournette, I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. Came back, got in shape quick. Enough said. Mike Evans, man, Mike Evans is like, I think he's had, ever since he's been in the NFL, he's had 1,000 yards every year and like over 70 receptions. He's like quietly really, really good. And he's been like that since he's came in the NFL, which is very hard to do. I know they're gonna miss Gronk. I don't think Gronk is coming back. I think Gronk is like, I am staying retired. I think he won the Super Bowl, came back last year, was like, I'm good, man. I do like Chris Godwin I think they should take their time with him because they do have Julio Jones. And Julio Jones isn't going to be the focal point like he was in Tennessee, which I think is a great thing. And then they have Russell Gage, who I think is a very underrated signing. So, I mean, this offense. And then they have Cameron Brake. And then they have Kyle Rudolph as a backup. So it's like, and once again, their offensive line, they've lost Hubbard, Jensen, Stenny, Wirfs is hurt. So they're hurt and they're new, but I think it is going to take some time for them to gel. But once again, you have Tom Brady, so he'll get things. They'll be on the same accord eventually. This defense, man, Akeem Hicks, Vita Vea, William Golston, like, golly. This front seven is a problem, man. Devin White, Levante David, Shaq Barrett, and they've been playing with each other. So they already know. And then Todd Bowles is now their head coach, who's a defensive coordinator. So they're like, okay, this is easy money, right? Then you got the safeties, Antoine Woodfield, and then Carlton Davis. I just like this team. I do agree with everybody when the defense is going to hold them down. Defense is going to hold them down. Offense is going to start off slow. And I got them going 13-4. But I do think this is Tom's last year.